What if the secret to wealth isn't hidden in your job, your investments, or your talent, but in what you do before 8 a.m.? That's the central idea behind Miracle Morning Millionaires. What the wealthy do before 8 a.m. that will make you rich by Hal Elrod and David Osborne. Hal Elrod's story begins in a place of despair. After a devastating car accident and financial ruin, he hit rock bottom. But instead of giving up, he decided to rebuild his life starting with his mornings. Through consistent habits and purposeful rituals, he transformed himself from broke and hopeless into a best-selling author and motivational force. His co-author, David Osborne, a successful real estate millionaire, took this same philosophy to scale his success, crediting much of his wealth to the structure and discipline he created in those quiet early hours. This book isn't just about waking up early. It's about the person you become during that time, focused, intentional, and capable of shaping your own success. As Hal writes, your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development. Now, let's explore how the right morning rituals, mindset, and habits can reprogram your life for financial and personal success. As the first light of day arrives, something powerful happens. The quiet of the morning gives you a chance to choose how your day begins, with intention or with distraction. The author believes that mornings set the tone for everything that follows. When you take control early, you lead your day instead of reacting to it. This is why many successful people see mornings not as a burden, but as their most valuable time. The science behind this is simple yet profound. Your mental state in the morning acts like the foundation of a building. If it's steady, everything that follows stands stronger. Starting your day with calm, focus, and clarity prepares your mind to make better decisions and handle challenges more effectively. On the other hand, if you start in a rush or with stress, that energy lingers, making the rest of the day harder to manage. The author said that this is why most people stay trapped in cycles of stress. They wake up to the sound of an alarm, hit snooze, scroll through their phones, and immediately feel behind. In contrast, the wealthy take ownership of those first quiet hours. They use that time to learn, to plan, and to visualize success. Their mornings aren't accidents. They are intentional strategies for growth. David Osborne's morning ritual is a great example of this principle in action. Before the rest of the world begins its routine, he spends time journaling and visualizing. In his journal, he doesn't just list tasks or random thoughts. He writes with direction, reflecting on what went well, what needs improvement, and what kind of leader he wants to become. During visualization, he mentally rehearses closing deals or speaking with confidence in important meetings. By the time his day officially starts, his mindset is already tuned to opportunity and success. This small daily practice reflects what the author calls the compound effect. Just as small amounts of money grow through interest, consistent small actions build powerful results over time. One day of journaling might not change your life, but hundreds of mornings spent reflecting, visualizing, and planning create transformation. Wealth, both financial and personal, grows from these quiet, unseen habits. When you win the morning, you win the day, the author wrote. And this phrase captures the heart of the message. Winning the morning isn't about being perfect or following a rigid schedule. It's about practicing self-leadership, the ability to guide your thoughts and emotions before they guide you. Discipline may feel restrictive at first, but as the author points out, true freedom comes from structure. Mornings are where focus, purpose, and calm come together. They are where your mind learns to lead your life instead of being led by it. When you use this time to build yourself, the rest of your day follows that direction. Now that we understand why mornings matter so deeply, it's time to look at what the wealthy actually do during these sacred early hours. Building on the idea that mornings define the tone of your entire day, the author introduces a simple yet transformative structure known as the Savers Formula. This stands for silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. It's not just a checklist. It's a blueprint for becoming the kind of person capable of handling wealth, purpose, and personal growth. Many successful people follow a variation of this pattern, and the author believes it's the key to mastering your mindset before the world starts demanding your attention. It begins with silence. Whether through meditation, prayer, or quiet reflection, this step is about grounding yourself before the noise of the day begins. Instead of rushing into chaos or reacting to messages, this moment of calm helps you reset your mind and emotions. The author said that when you start from stillness, you gain control over your focus rather than letting circumstances dictate your mood. Some sit quietly for a few minutes to practice gratitude. Others breathe deeply to clear their thoughts. The goal is to enter the day with presence instead of panic. Next comes affirmations, a practice that might seem awkward at first but holds real psychological power. This is where you consciously rewrite the script in your head. Most people wake up already telling themselves what's impossible or what might go wrong. Affirmations replace that voice with intentional belief. The author thinks that saying what you want until you truly believe it shifts your mindset from limitation to possibility. It's not about blind positivity. It's about reprogramming your internal dialogue so that it aligns with who you're becoming. Then comes visualization, which connects thought to action. Here, you picture your goals as already achieved. It's not daydreaming, it's mental rehearsal. David Osborne, one of the millionaire examples in the book, would visualize closing property deals before they even existed. He didn't just imagine the money. He imagined the feeling, the conversation, the details. This mental clarity made real-world execution smoother because his mind had already practiced success. The author emphasizes that when you visualize consistently, your brain starts believing in the reality of what you see, and your behavior naturally follows. The fourth element is exercise, a non-negotiable for energy and focus. The author explains that moving your body first thing in the morning triggers dopamine and endorphins, chemicals that elevate mood and sharpen mental clarity. Exercise doesn't have to be extreme. Even 10 minutes of stretching, jogging, or push-ups can transform how you feel. This physical activation creates momentum, turning discipline into a source of energy rather than effort. After the body is awake, it's time for reading. This step feeds your mind with ideas that challenge and inspire you. The author said that successful people don't leave their learning to chance. They read something that pushes them to think bigger or improve a specific area of life. Whether it's a few pages of a personal development book or insights from a biography, this practice compounds knowledge over time, shaping how you see and solve problems. Finally, there's scribing or journaling. Writing down your thoughts, lessons, or reflections gives structure to your self-awareness. It's a moment to track your growth, process emotions, and recognize patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. The author notes that this habit turns reflection into progress. You can literally see how your mindset evolves on paper. When combined, these 6 practices form a 1-hour structure that develops the same mental muscles shared by high achievers: discipline, clarity, optimism, and self-direction. It's not about perfection, it's about intention. The author reminds us, you can't change your life until you change something you do daily. The Savers routine gives you that daily change, turning small, consistent actions into massive internal transformation. Now that the foundation is clear, the next step is understanding how repetition and consistency turn these simple rituals into lasting results. With the foundation of the morning routine in place, the author shifts focus to the real engine behind lasting success, the mindset that drives it. Wealth, as described in the book, isn't about luck, talent, or being in the right place at the right time. It's about how you think, what you believe, and how consistently you act on those beliefs. The author thinks that most people misunderstand wealth because they chase money itself, while millionaires chase growth, learning, and value creation. Money becomes the outcome, not the mission. One of the key mental shifts the author highlights is moving from victimhood to ownership. It's the difference between saying, "I can't," and asking, "How can I?" That small change in language represents a massive shift in personal power. Hal's own journey illustrates this idea perfectly. After his near-fatal car accident, he could have surrendered to limitation, yet he refused to live as a victim. Instead, he began asking how he could rebuild his life, health, and income. The author said that this moment of mental ownership was the beginning of transformation. It didn't just rebuild his finances, it rebuilt his identity. David Osborne's story follows a similar path. Early in his career, he wasn't born into wealth or privilege. What set him apart was how clearly he defined his goals and tracked his progress. He wrote down his targets, measured his growth, and reviewed them relentlessly. By turning ambition into a system, He made wealth measurable and achievable. The author uses David's discipline as proof that mindset isn't about wishful thinking. It's about clarity and commitment. Another powerful theme in the book is the idea of the abundance mindset. This way of thinking assumes that there's more than enough success, money, and opportunity for everyone. Instead of competing for limited resources, those with an abundant outlook focus on creating new value. The author said that abundance thinkers celebrate others' wins because they see success as proof of what's possible, not as a threat to their own. This perspective frees them from envy and fear, allowing them to act boldly and generously. Daily affirmations and gratitude are tools that reinforce this abundant way of thinking. When you intentionally appreciate what you already have, your focus shifts from fear to possibility. Gratitude reduces anxiety about what's missing and makes space for creative solutions. The author thinks that millionaires aren't positive because life is easy. They're positive because they choose to focus on what moves them forward. Over time, this repeated focus trains the mind to spot opportunities instead of obstacles. Long-term thinking also separates the wealthy from the average. Millionaires are patient gardeners. They plant seeds daily and understand that results take time. They see every small action, reading a book, refining a skill, or building relationships, as an investment in their future. In contrast, most people live in what the author calls the scarcity loop, waiting for motivation, chasing quick wins, and reacting to short-term emotions. The wealthy break that loop by acting before they feel ready and trusting that consistency will produce results. Ultimately, the author wants readers to see that wealth begins in the mind long before it appears in a bank account. When you think abundantly, act with ownership, and stay patient through the process, you start to embody the traits of a millionaire, regardless of how much money you currently have. Once this mental shift takes root, the next step is learning how to design habits and systems that keep success sustainable. Once mindset shifts, the real transformation begins in how we act. The author believes that success doesn't depend on bursts of motivation or chasing massive goals. It comes from building systems that quietly run your life. Millionaires don't rely on how they feel each day. They rely on what they do every day. They build routines so solid that progress becomes inevitable. The book highlights that daily structure is far more powerful than one-time inspiration. Goals set direction, but systems create motion. The author said that goals are easy to write down, but hard to live out unless they're supported by habits. David Osborne is a clear example of this principle in action. He reviews his goals weekly, but his focus isn't on the goals themselves. It's on the habits that bring them to life. He reads daily to expand his mind, journals to refine his clarity, exercises to maintain energy, and makes one meaningful connection each day to grow his network. Over time, these consistent actions compound, creating a momentum that doesn't depend on motivation. The book puts it simply. Consistency is the bridge between goals and achievement. It's not talent or opportunity that separates high achievers. It's the ability to show up and do what matters, even when no one's watching. Morning routines serve as an anchor in this process, a steady rhythm that centers you before the day's noise begins. By starting every morning the same way, you signal to yourself that you're in control. That sense of structure builds confidence and quiet authority. The author thinks this daily control is what allows the wealthy to make calm, strategic decisions rather than emotional ones. External insights from other thought leaders reinforce this point. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, explains that habits compound like interest. The small actions you repeat accumulate into significant change over time. Just as money grows through compound interest, effort grows through consistency. A single productive morning might not change your life, but hundreds of them will. The author connects this idea back to wealth creation, emphasizing that financial freedom isn't built in sudden leaps, but through repeated behaviors that become second nature. Hal's own comeback story reflects this truth. After falling deep into debt, he didn't experience one miraculous breakthrough that turned things around. Instead, he focused on small, consistent wins, making calls, writing affirmations, running each morning, and keeping promises to himself. Over the years, these small actions built trust and self-belief, leading him out of crisis and into abundance. His success was not sudden. It was constructed one disciplined morning at a time. Another critical insight from the author is that when habits become automatic, they free up mental energy for creative and strategic thinking. Instead of wasting focus on deciding what to do next, your mind is clear to innovate, learn, and grow. Habits create mental space for higher-level decisions, the kind that actually builds wealth. Ultimately, systems are what transform ambition into achievement. They make success sustainable and repeatable. While goals inspire you, systems ensure you keep moving long after the initial excitement fades. And once those systems are solid, the next step is mastering how you use your most precious resource, time. As habits take root, the next major shift lies in how we value and manage our time. The author believes that the truly wealthy see time as their most precious resource. Every minute before 8 a.m. isn't just part of the day, it's an investment. Those quiet early hours are when the mind is clearest, the world is still, and distractions are at their lowest. By starting the day with purpose, successful people take command of time rather than becoming its prisoner. Most people guard their money carefully but spend their focus carelessly. The author said that millionaires do the opposite. They treat attention like capital. They don't let social media, emails, or other people's priorities drain their mental bandwidth in the morning. David Osborne's approach reflects this perfectly. He protects his early hours with strict boundaries, using that time for high-value tasks such as strategy, writing, or reviewing key decisions. No phone, no meetings, no noise. This habit gives him a sense of calm control that lasts throughout the day. The book expands on the idea that energy, not time, is the real driver of productivity. Time is finite, but energy can be renewed. The author thinks that how you manage your emotional and physical energy determines the quality of your results. A drained mind makes poor decisions, while an energized one spots opportunities others miss. That's why morning routines often combine stillness with movement, meditation to center the mind, exercise to awaken the body. When these two forces work together, mental clarity improves and the day begins with confidence. A key insight introduced in the book is the idea of return on energy, or ROE. It's the concept of doing things that give back more energy than they take away. Activities like creative work, exercise, or connecting with people who inspire you create positive energy loops that multiply over time. The wealthy are intentional about this. They design their days around high ROE activities that keep them feeling alive and engaged. This is why they often appear calm and composed even under pressure. Their energy reserves are full because they've invested wisely in themselves. This principle ties directly into wealth creation. People who manage energy effectively tend to attract more opportunities because they project focus, optimism, and stability. Others are drawn to that energy, opening doors to new ventures, collaborations, and growth. The author thinks that maintaining strong energy is a subtle but powerful form of leadership. It signals to the world that you can be trusted with bigger responsibilities. Hal's personal story captures this lesson vividly. When he was working full-time and writing The Miracle Morning, his days were already packed. Instead of waiting for free time, he created it. By waking up earlier, he used his mornings to write, think, and plan. Managing his energy made those extra hours feel expansive rather than exhausting. It was this disciplined use of time that turned an idea into a movement that changed millions of lives. Ultimately, millionaires don't chase time, they create space. They protect their mornings because those first hours determine everything that follows. When time, energy, and focus align, life begins to move at a different pace, one that feels lighter yet far more productive. And beneath all of this daily discipline lies something deeper, the sense of purpose that gives it meaning. Beyond discipline and productivity, the real heart of lasting success lies in meaning. The author believes that true wealth isn't defined by numbers in a bank account, but by the difference you make with what you have. Money without purpose quickly loses its power. Those who build lives of abundance often do so not because they chase wealth, but because they use it as a tool to serve something larger than themselves. The author said that abundance is meant to be shared, not hoarded. Giving, in any form, time, knowledge, or resources, creates a sense of fulfillment that material success alone can't match. The book captures this in a simple but powerful line. When you focus on adding value to others, wealth follows naturally. This philosophy turns success into a cycle of contribution. The more you give, the more connected you feel, and the more opportunities seem to flow back to you. Morning rituals play a quiet yet crucial role in nurturing this sense of purpose. Those early hours aren't just for action, they're also for reflection. They give you space to think about who you want to become and what kind of legacy you hope to leave behind. In a world that moves quickly, these moments of stillness help realign your focus from personal gain to meaningful impact. The author thinks that purpose clarifies priorities. It's what separates busy people from fulfilled ones. David Osborne's story offers a vivid example. Despite his financial success, he dedicates part of every week to mentoring younger entrepreneurs. He doesn't do it for profit, but because it keeps him connected to his purpose, helping others grow into leaders who will multiply value in their own communities. This act of mentorship embodies what the book calls the wealth loop. Purpose drives effort, effort creates success, and success fuels more giving. The more he gives, the more meaningful his success becomes. This principle applies beyond business. When you define success not only by income, but by impact, life gains depth. Emotional and spiritual wealth become as real as financial wealth. The author believes that fulfillment is built from alignment, when what you do every day reflects what truly matters to you. Wealth, in this sense, becomes the natural result of living intentionally. Purpose also keeps ambition grounded. Without it, success can easily turn into endless striving. But with purpose, even hard work feels lighter because it connects to something enduring. Morning reflection helps remind you of that reason every day. It shifts the question from how much can I earn to how much can I contribute. The author's message is clear. Wealth grows best when it serves others. Giving back doesn't drain success, it sustains it. It keeps you humble, grateful, and focused on what truly counts. And as each morning builds on the last, purpose becomes not just an idea, but a daily practice, one that transforms ambition into legacy. To bring everything together, the core message of this book is simple yet powerful. True wealth starts long before the paycheck arrives. It begins in the quiet moments of your morning, when no one else is watching and you choose who you want to become. Those early hours shape your mindset, your energy, and ultimately, your future self. The author believes that if you master your mornings, you can master your life. So here's a simple challenge. Dedicate the next 30 days to your own version of a miracle morning. You don't have to follow it perfectly, and you don't have to be a millionaire to start like one. The goal isn't to chase money. It's to create the habits, focus, and purpose that attract success naturally. Transformation doesn't happen by luck or chance. It happens through consistent, intentional mornings that build the person capable of achieving more. The truth is, the gap between ordinary and extraordinary isn't about talent or timing. It's about how you spend the first hour of your day. Your morning can change everything, maybe even your entire life.